Welcome back to fabulous Sin City, Las Vegas, everyone. It's the Sometimes Vlog. It's a vlog that happens sometimes. Thank you very much. Elvis and the building has left the vlog. Welcome back, everybody. We're in Las Vegas, Nevada, on the Strip, the world-famous Las Vegas Strip, which is actually about 4 miles south of the city of Las Vegas. You can see the stratosphere poking up here. We're now on the polar opposite side of the stratosphere than we were from the last vlog over there. And the Las Vegas Strip is crazy. What I've discovered for the last 4 days of being here, and really the reason that I've been in Las Vegas, I was invited here to hang out with some new people, some fun folks, some fun ones, some fun new friends who really don't like being on camera, which is fine. So I've just been taking a couple days to hang out, and I really thought, man, I'm gonna vlog so many things and film so much stuff. But two things. Number one, you really can't film on the casino floor. So if you're hanging out with people who are going from casino to casino, you can't really just bust out the camera and film where people are gambling. They really frown upon that here, believe me. And the other thing is, it turns out that Las Vegas is my kryptonite. You know how normally, like, I'm wild and hyper fun? I'm just a fun one. And people are always like, what's this guy on? He's so hyper. I can go out to the middle of the desert and be like, ooh, we found the Rocky Hill of Destiny underneath the restaurant of the gluten-free hamburger and all that. Well, in Las Vegas, I turned from that Mr. Happy-go-lucky, fun, quest for positivity guy into a mindless zombie, or at best, a cranky librarian. This city is so overstimulating. There are so many light bulbs and noises and things saying, give me money, and then you go outside and there's usually drunk people running around all crazy. I found a little spot right here in front of this crazy mall with a giant 15 billion story surfboard roof that sells like Louis Vuitton and Versace and things that I don't understand in there at all. I found this little area that's kind of roped off, so we actually have a little tiny spot to ourselves, and even though it's next to traffic, it's one of the quieter spots in Vegas because at least Frank Sinatra's not blaring. I've been hanging out, doing some stuff. I was going to try and vlog this show at Caesar's Palace. I stumbled upon this crazy animatronic Fall of Atlantis show, but some of the stuff, even when you can go film it, even if it is weird, and even when they aren't yelling at you to not film something here in Las Vegas, it's like really muffly or difficult to film, so it was hard to film that whole show, but I did manage to grab a clip of the ending. Check this out. I have no idea what just happened there, but I think I just saw the Vegas version of Fantasmic, and it was weird. So anyway, there's lots of stuff like that in Vegas, buried under the layers of overstimulating lights and sounds, and please give me your money. But for the most part, I gotta say, the first 4 days I've really ever spent on the Strip, like a lot of time on the Strip, spent a lot of time on the old Strip and around Las Vegas when I came here to play shows and stuff, but never really like as a tourist kind of thing. I gotta say, for the most part, if you don't like to chuck a lot of money around gambling, or you don't have much money to see shows and run around seeing David Copperfield and stuff, and if you don't really like to drink and party and all that, maybe Las Vegas might not be your prime choice for a destination. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about Vegas. What do you think about Vegas? Do you like to party and get crazy? Or if you don't like to party and get crazy, what do you do in Las Vegas? I could probably get a lot of good suggestions down below. But that was the other thing, getting bombarded with suggestions. However, something really cool. I have been staying over here at the Encore, which is right next to this, the Wynn. The Wynn and the Encore. Twin towers here. Steve Wynn, the multi-bajigazillionaire who owns half of Las Vegas, built this sucker on the site. Here, this sucker. There you go. This sucker. On the site of a very old, famous Las Vegas casino, which was located just about here where these bushes and trees and waterfalls and fountains and pools and stuff are on the other side of this. It was called the Desert Inn. And the reason that the Desert Inn, or the DI as it was known, is very cool and infamous and exciting to me is the Desert Inn was the hotel that Howard Hughes showed up at with his crazy entourage of 10 people, or I don't know how many people, and they were going to check in for 10 days. At the end of 10 days, the owners of the Desert Inn, or the people at management at the Desert Inn, was like, hey, it's time for you guys to leave. And Howard Hughes decided, I'm not going to leave. Instead, I'm going to buy the Desert Inn. And then he proceeded to buy half of Las Vegas. And he stayed living on the top 2 floors of the Desert Inn right about ish for years. Years and years and years. This is the place where Howard Hughes, famously, all those rumors of him sitting up there naked in his hotel suite wearing Kleenex boxes for shoes and collecting jars of urine. This is the place where that happened. So that was pretty exciting to find out. My room is somewhere up here. And I was thinking, wow, my view is a very similar view over the mountains and over like Las Vegas that Howard Hughes would have had back in the 60s and 70s when he was chilling up inside of the Desert Inn right there. So that was pretty cool. Steve Wynn, though, later famously bought the Desert Inn right after it had been remodeled and then tore it down to build his fabulous, crazy Wynn Tower of Richness, which I've been staying in. It is a really, really fancy casino. There's all kinds of stuff like Chanel shops and weird things and stuff that I could never afford in a million years. Rolex, stuff. And there was even like a platinum and diamond cell phone in there for sale that wasn't even a smartphone. It just looked like a razor phone, but you buy it because it's made of platinum and has diamonds on it, I guess. I don't know why else you would buy it. Like you buy it to just call your mom on. Like, Mom, I'm calling you on the good phone. I don't understand. I don't understand you, Wynn, and your crazy money. Well, anyway, much like Howard Hughes, the eccentric multi-millionaire, Steve Wynn, the eccentric billionaire. I don't know who has what. I don't read Forbes lists of 500 richest crazy guys. But Steve Wynn over here, it turns out, is a little bit eccentric as well, because not only does he now own half of Las Vegas, much like Howard Hughes, he's also put something pretty unusual into this hotel. As I walk from the Encore through all these crazy shops and buildings back here into the Wynn, and then out through the Wynn and out through the shops over here, I pass 100 times a crazy thing that is being advertised out here on Las Vegas Boulevard, and that Steve Wynn apparently expects lots and lots of tourists to come and see, and I'll show it to you right now. Look at this. Do you recognize this guy? Do you recognize this sailor man right here with the can of spinach in his hand? Not this guy. This is Avery, the security guard. He's protecting this. Look at this man. This is Popeye. This is a statue of Popeye here in the middle of the Wynn, well, the Esplanade, the shopping center area. Look at Popeye here by Jeff Koons, American, born in 1955, high chromium stainless steel with transparent color coating. And the weird thing about Popeye isn't just how shiny he is, or how fancy his dungarees are, or how buff he is. And by the way, look at Popeye's arms. I remember the anchor tattoos. I don't remember the tank. He's got a tank on his arm. I do not remember Popeye having a tank. No, the interesting thing about this Popeye here, the really weird thing about it, is that Steve Wynn purchased Popeye here for $28.2 million. Now, Avery here behind me was telling me that somebody offered $60 million for Popeye, which technically puts Popeye's worth at $60 million now. But as he said, Steve Wynn didn't buy it to sell it. Steve Wynn bought it to put it here on display for us to look at and admire. We are looking at almost, well, I guess we're looking at $60 million worth of cartoon character right there. Look at that thing. I am not sure what high chromium is, but I know that stainless steel is not that expensive, so it's art. This right here is art. I don't understand it. I don't understand the money part of it. I understand the Popeye part of it. The Popeye part of it's cool. He's like, I got spinach. But that right there alone just blows my mind. You're walking by it every day like, la 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 la, I'm gonna go get some hamburgers, and you see this thing and you're like, why is there a metal rail around a very shiny Popeye? And then you find out that he bought it for $28.2 million. Now, Avery's job right there is to protect Popeye, and he was telling me all this good stuff about Popeye, and how, like, if you go past that bar and make physical contact with Popeye. They gotta make physical contact with you. But no, they actually have to call out a crazy team from another country to come inspect it. If there's any kind of damage on it or anything, the people here aren't even really allowed to clean it, just to dust it, not even allowed to polish it or scrub it, or risk scratching the Popeye. That is freaking mind-blowing. $28.2 million seems like, I'm just putting this out there for me. Let's not even deal with the 60 million number. Just between you and me, $28.2 million seems like 28 or so million too much. Just me, personally. My offer would be less, probably because I have less. So there's this bar around Popeye to protect Popeye from being hugged, kissed. So if somebody kissed Popeye, that would be really bad. We don't want to kiss Popeye, as handsome as he is. Look at that. I mean, that's a nice statue. It reminds me of the giant Gumby that we saw in Norco, only the giant Gumby out there was made of just regular non-stainless steel without fancy colors, and he definitely had nothing to protect him except for the Sometimes dog. You guys remember the Sometimes dog? Anyway, go back on the vlog, you can see a giant Gumby out there in Norco, unprotected, able to be touched. But this is really crazy here. There's a Popeye so valuable that 24 hours a day, as I've been coming in and out of the casino, there's always a guard protecting Popeye. Oh, and if you think this Popeye is expensive, if you think Popeye is valuable here, let's look as close as we can without risking security. I'm just sorry. Even standing here, and I've been looking at this for a couple of days, my mind is blown. Look at his face. Look at his face. It's a $28 million Popeye. The $28 million Popeye. If you thought that was expensive, if you thought that was crazy, $28 million for Popeye, wait till you see what they have down here past all these fancy stores. This one here, the tulips, was 33.6, I believe, million. 33.6 million. Well, obviously, it's a little bit bigger than Popeye, but still, 33.6 million. Can I borrow 1/33 of it? I'll pay you back. And hugs, Mr. Wynn. $33 million. I do not understand how they spend their money. Anyway, there you have it. A little piece of my visit to Las Vegas, Nevada. I don't really understand this town. It's not really 100% my thing, but unlike past visits, I don't hate it. You see, I always had really bad experiences in Las Vegas before. One time I literally got brought here to do a tour with my old band, and the guy that was supposed to be bringing us on the tour didn't have any money, and it was all crazy, and he said he was gonna kill himself. Another time I came here with an ex of mine, and there was all these people that I knew that were running around and getting all drunk and doing crazy stuff, and one of them fell off a building, and just craziness has always happened every time I've gone to Las Vegas. And this time, pretty fun. Met some cool people, hung out, saw some cool, interesting sights. I'm sure I'll be better prepared to come back next time and show and explore more things. It's always weird the first time you really come to a place, especially a huge place full of crazy stuff, and explore. You kind of need a few days to explore it and just try to wrap your head around it. And there's really no wrapping your head around this. The drinking, the gambling, all that stuff. I get it. I understand its appeal. Don't get me wrong. And far be it for me to judge anybody whose thing that is. Believe me. But it's just not sort of my thing. I'm more of the Disneyland type of guy, running around, looking at all that crazy stuff. I'd rather run out and go to Yosemite or Death Valley or do something crazy like that, or explore all that. And I'm sure we're gonna do some of that too. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Say it. Tuned. Stay tuned on the Sometimes vlog. We'll be back for more in the future, as long as we don't get arrested by RoboCop here. I gotta drive all the way back to Orange County and go see my beloved Disneyland, which has many of its fine attractions shuttered and closed. And yes, I'm very aware of the sad passing of Mr. David Jones, or better known as the legendary David Bowie. I was super, super bummed out about that, but I'm trying not to focus on it for the moment. Great artist, a great inspiration to me, and hero of mine. And he is now sadly passed on. Super big, huge, crazy bummer. But life goes on. The best you can do is remember him, throw the music on, show other people the music. It's a great chance, by the way, if you only knew Bowie from The Labyrinth or something like that. I think people sort of misunderstood my tone on Twitter when I said this, but if you only knew Bowie from The Labyrinth, or like Perks of Being a Wallflower soundtrack or something like that, right now, run out and go get yourself The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spider from Mars. Go get yourself that record right now. What are you doing? It's crazy. And by the way, right here on the corner by the Wynn here, between the Wynn and the Venetian and the Palazzo over here, I smell skunk. Somebody hit a skunk. Can you imagine a skunk running around Las Vegas? It's supposed to be down in Paris, Pepe Le Pew, right? Okay. I don't know, that was a total diversion. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed seeing the $28 million pop. I wish I could just break off one of his fingers, right? And pawn it. They'd probably give me nothing for it. And the rest, I will be home soon. But thank you for joining me. You have done your duty. You can all go home and sleep well. By the way, Mr. Wynn, next time you want to buy some art, I could paint, probably. Just saying. All right, see you guys later. Live fast, live poor, Spreadshirt.com, etc., etc., etc. I love you all. Goodbye.